Hello everybody, Crab here, and today we're making fused modular frames and these boring gray squares. Now, let us begin. Now, we are over by this lake waterfall thing right here, close to the void pit of doom. The reason we're over here is because up on this cliff right here, we have our nitrogen gas, and then we'll be training over bauxite from up here. And then I just like this area. But of course, the first thing we have to do is blow stuff up. And then after destroying trees, placing some concrete down and a few machines, we get this nice little mess of things. What we're doing is quite simple. We're trying to make 3 fused modular frames. Now, enter your item. It's decently complicated, but not as bad as you might think. We need nitrogen gas, aluminum casings, heavy modular frame. This makes our lovely 3 heavy modular frames. We are using the alternate recipe, the heavy encased frames, because it is technically more efficient on literally everything and doesn't require screws, which is fantastic. And as you can see, we get these nice even numbers. So we have our concrete machine right there. We have all of our steel pipes, modular frames, encased industrial beams, iron and foundries, and screws and plates to make the reinforced iron plates that then go into the modular frame. Over here, I'm so glad I have 100 power shards because we're going to be using a few of them. We have the concrete machine. We have our 2 machines to make our aluminum scrap, and then we have 1 machine at the end making the 150 aluminum casings. What we're trying to go for is this kind of following the terrain type deal. So this building will kind of sit on top of this terrain. This building will kind of sit on top of this outlet terrain bit. We'll have a bridge that goes over this nice water. And I'm thinking of having resource lines running in between this area too, because we have to bring our nitrogen over and we have to take our casings and concrete over and our coal, which we'll be getting. So if we just have that running along this waterfall along with the pathway, I think it'll look really nice. Now, when it comes to the outside, I'm not trying to do anything too decorative, I guess you could say. We're doing very basic things. We're doing a window, an open face for these 2 machines, a window on the side, and then kind of finish off this building. This one, we have a few more stranger angles. So we have this nice corner window that looks over this lake. This downward bit, by the way, will be where our water extractors go, because we need 100 for the aluminum solution and 90 for our concrete. So I'm going to put the water extractors down here, and I like this little curve thing because curves are always fun. Add them everywhere. It's my greatest advice. For the floor, I'm mixing a little bit of stuff. Usually what I do is I do carbon steel for the pathways, and for the floor I have been doing the Caterium finish on top of coated concrete. This time we're using the lovely chrome finish and this black for the flooring, just because why not? I wanted to change things up a bit. I have this path going on the outside. The reason for that is cooling systems will go over here, so this will continue along and head towards that section of buildings. And I still need to add some details to the walls and actually need to, you know, top off the buildings and whatnot. But we have our general shapes in. We know the general style we're going for. Very simple, concrete, brutalistic-ish. I'm so glad 1.0 now lets mods work, because we have always day on, which means it's always day, and it is fantastic, and I don't have to worry about darkness, and I love it. Now, I have roofed this place off and dealt with more window stuff and shenanigans. I basically just kind of tried to make it look a little bit like a bunker. So yes, it is raised above this nice water, but ignoring that bit, we have our nice little bunker slant, and we have windows and whatnot everywhere. And then on the inside, I did do a wee tad of belt work just to get things going, kind of see how things would look with belts in and things moving around. And also, I wanted to make sure the belts would fit before walling everything and actually getting a finished building in, because if I didn't have room there, I just moved the building forward. I'm not doing too much when it comes to detail on the walls. I'm adding this area for concrete pillars just because it adds a little something in the back here. I didn't want to window it. And up front, I added this little section and the little section down there just to add a bit of depth to these 2 buildings. Although I'm not going to do too much of that kind of stuff. I am trying to keep these walls plain because I tend to have a habit of trying to over detail everything, and I fail at it exceptionally hard. And so I'm just not going to try. I'm going to shove a few concrete pillars in and hope and pray it works. Oh, and we have lighting on the inside now. It is so very nice. I have added these little lights along these beams where all of the wiring is going, just to add a little bit of something, because before I had these big lights in, there was no lighting in here, and I thought these little ones might add something. They did not. They are not very bright. But these big ones on the top really do help to make it not a shadowy, edgy mess. I filled out the railway pathways and actually hooked everything up to power. Once I hook up the iron and whatnot, everything will turn on automatic. I haven't hooked up the nitrogen or the casings yet because I haven't done them yet. That building's still very plain. But walking through here, I get my usual dark-esque style and very open builds. It's very much my style, which I do need to fix. I'd like to try something new, but for now, we're just trying to get some fused modular frames and make the buildings therein look half decent, so I think I'm doing a fairly good job. Now, I was trying to figure out what to put in this empty space, and I was like, me got an idea. So, I was trying to mess with a sign that would have fused modular frames and the number 3 visible, and the number 3 was not cooperating with me, so I decided I'd do some shenanigans. If we take our sign, we can see it juts out quite a bit from our painted beam. So if we were to try and put another sign on top of it, it kind of doesn't want to work. You know, it sits behind. So what we have to do is we have to put a beam in front of it, in front of this first beam. The problem is if we did it in front using the grid system that Satisfactory has built in, the sign that I would trying to overlay on top of this one to display the number 3 would look terrible and wouldn't work correctly. So what we do is we take our big concrete pillar, we take one of these beam connectors, and we kind of just slide it across. And we figure out generally where we think it might work, and then we take our beam and go like this, and we test. And we say, will this clip horrifically or will it work? And it looks like it is clipping horrifically. It is too far in, and so we delete it. And just try again until it works. And after messing with it a little bit more, we can see this sign is barely sticking out. We have the number 3 visible with the fused modular frame. I was about to say logo, but that's not a logo. It just is fused modular frames. I don't exactly know what to call that little bit right there. But it's now visible and it fills the space and it looks real nice and happy. And I can display the number that I am making. Ah, beautiful. And with that done, this building is finished. Ah. Look, it's so nice and clean. Now we need to do the second one. My general plan, as if I ever have one, is kind of do a bit of like a box. We like box that right here for the bits that stick up, and then we flatten out here for the bits that don't stick up because refineries have this nice little smokestack that often gets in the way of me building things short. It's very annoying. But with that, with the area that'll be flat here, we can put our train station up here because I'm going to be training things in and out. The reason we're going to make cooling systems is 1, we need them, and 2, they go into turbo motors, which will be used to make Mark III miners. So once I've built these cooling systems, I'll need to take them to another area to make turbo motors, which means we need 3 train stations. 1 for the train to pick up the bauxite here, 1 for the fused modular frames and cooling systems that are going over to the hub, and 1 that's using the cooling systems to go towards our turbo motor factory. I think I said 3 trains. I meant 3 train carts, you know, freight cars. So if we put the train up here and then we can connect it to the railway that's over here that I will have circling the world, it'll be nice and easy. We can skim it through that little crack in the terrain right here and bring it along and shove it in this general area. But that's for the future. Dynamite time, baby. Whee! I like just throwing dynamite and seeing what happens. Like, what's gonna happen? Oh, it blew up. Who would have guessed? Speaking of the train line, over here, I thought I might as well do my junction, because yes, I do need to have a small little junction. We need to go up and over towards the factory, which is over there, but I do have to go around this mountain for the general train line, which means what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our nice little foundations, and we're gonna go like this, and just go up, and then we'll connect these back up there, and we'll only have a single train line that goes towards the rest of the factory. And look at that. It's nice and beautiful. This really does look fantastic. I really like how it turned out. As you can see, we got a nice little curve right there. That is something that I like about building out away from my base, or generally just expanding early in the game, is later in the game when I come to build stuff, I end up just adding to the build by shoving infrastructure in. It's fantastic. And once we make it through the crack, we have where our train station is going to be, and this is our nitrogen line that I brought over from the nitrogen that's sitting up here, I believe. Oh yeah, the building, it kind of got finished. It's a box. What do you expect? I said it would be a box. I made a box. I'm gonna have to expand this train a little bit. I think it needs to go out this side 1 more and out this side 2 more, because we have to have the train line loop around and go back, because we do have to make a curve, because I cannot do dual way train systems considering this is going up to my train stations up at my storage hub. They do not let you do that. Kind of sucks. But this general area has a nice little bit of height and change. Like, look, we got our bunker and our height in the train station is towering above it, and it looks fantastic and beautiful. It's not even done. It looks kind of garbage right now. It will look beautiful. The placement's nice, though. You know what I mean? Now let's decorate it and make it look less terrible. And of course, using my old blueprints that are used for the other train stations, we have now decorated this train station to make it look nice and pretty. I did have to expand it a little bit to get this rail line to go around and loop back, but it looks half decent from under here, and it'll look even worse when I get my belts in, because I am just gonna shove belts into the kind of just in the middle right here. They're just gonna go up into the train station, and I'm not gonna do anything about it. It's gonna look horrific and awesome at the same time. I can't wait. And when it comes to the inside of this building, light, beam, turn machines on. Machines will be turned on soon. Whatever. Not very important. I already did it. It's the same as this one, except in there, you know, nothing special. But now I have full supports on this train line, and this train line is actually finished and looks nice. And so with that said, now let's actually hook everything up. I still need to bring bauxite and colon. Colon? Ah, yes, I need to bring in a colon. Oh my god, look at the things they own. It's fantastic when everything's running and polluting the air. All the animals and plant life will die as I smog everything up. I do wish climate change was in this game. I'd love to destroy the world. Anyways, I'm waiting for aluminum casings to turn on the beautiful FUSED modular frames. But everything's going. I have my nice little belt line right here, which I do need to add one more to actually send the FUSED modular frames up into the train station. But the scrap's going. I'm just kind of waiting for the overflow because, well, I have to wait for all this to overflow because we have an overflow system. I like to say the word overflow when I have overflow systems. Who would have guessed? Delete concrete to make things run nicely. Oh, and the first one has come out. The very first FUSED modular frame in this world. I haven't even found any while exploring. It's beautiful and majestic. Oh, it's fantastic. Anyways, now we have to hook it up to the train station. Ugh. How annoying. While I was hooking it up, we had a little bit of build up, so now we have these 10 FUSED modular frames just vibing their way up into this train station right here. Ugh, it is beautiful. But with that, we are done here. We have built our things and things are up and running. Now let's make sure they actually get back to the storage area. Oh, they're in. I just sent this off, so now we have turbo motors and Mark III miners unlocked. But it's beautiful. All my trains are running, everything's working. My storage room has one more thing added to it. We go down here, we can see our lovely FUSED modular frames. Cooling systems will come some other time, but I set them up anyways. It is beautiful to have everything up and running. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, subscribe. You can always leave whenever I start uploading terrible content. Oh wait, I do right now. Anyways, goodbye.